LOVE.
On this episode of Simply Necessary Conversations.
So everyone knows Tia Mowry because, you know, she and her sister Tamara are iconic sister. They have been celebrities ever since before I was born. Mm-hmm. But she now has her own reality TV show. She used to have one with her sister, but that ended probably decades ago by now.
I don't know if it was decades, but it's been a minute.
It has to, like, probably 10 years.
Well, that's a decade.
Well, yeah. But now she has her own show. She recently got a divorce from her husband, so a lot of the topics have been focusing on her post-marriage life. Mm-hmm. And she recently revealed that she repurposed her wedding ring, and she made it something special for her kids so that they could, like, remember what once was, kind of. So what are your thoughts on that? I know a long time ago I asked you for your diamond because I wanted to use it for something, but what are your thoughts on that?
I think that's what I plan to do. Well, in a different way. When my mom and dad got married, of course, they didn't have a whole lot of money. My dad bought her first ring. It was small. When they got a little bit more money, he got her a different ring, and she took the diamond from the first ring and had it made into a pendant for me.
Yeah.
So when I got married the first time, small ring, didn't have as much money. Yeah. He bought me a second ring. I got my diamond. You were still young, so I got my diamond the first one turned into a pendant, which I plan on giving to you. And then the last ring that I had, I've only been married once, folks, in case y'all are not following. But my plan for that was either get it turned into some type of jewelry for you, but because we kind of discussed it might have bad juju on it, I decided that I would, at the point that you were getting married, sell it and either pay for your wedding with that money or give that money to you as a wedding gift to, like, put a down payment on a house, something. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's smart to repurpose the ring. It doesn't make sense to just, like, put it on a box.
Yeah, we're not that lady in the Titanic. We're not just going to throw it out to sea.
No, ma'am, we don't have those kinds of funds. So, but that's been my plan from the time that I got divorced, is that I just, like, set it aside.
I think it's special that she wanted it to be for her kids, so that way it's like a reminder that they were born out of love, even though their parents aren't together anymore. Yeah. That, there's still something beautiful that can be made within whatever situation that, resulted in their divorce. But I think it was a good idea.
Yeah, I don't find any fault with that at all. And I think it's the most logical thing.
But what I wouldn't want is, if I was her kids, for her to be like, oh, I'm going to pass it down as, like, the ring itself.
Yeah, no.
I don't want your old ring. No. Even though I want to copy your design almost exactly. Mm-hmm. I don't want the actual ring, because I just feel like,
yeah, it has negative energy.
Or just like I said, I don't want to get married on the same day you got married, or like I don't want to be proposed. Like, I specifically told my boyfriend, do not propose to me on that day, because then I'll think it's like a sign from above.
Well, it wouldn't make sense for you to get proposed on the same day that I got proposed, because it was my birthday.
No, so. I mean, like, I don't want to be proposed on your wedding anniversary.
Oh.
Even though our anniversary is the same day, not the same month.
Okay. Well, first of all, y'all kill me with having an anniversary. Y'all ain't married, but anyway.
Everyone has anniversaries.
Anyway, but yeah, the repurposing the jewelry, I think, is a smart thing to do. And it's a way to recoup your investment. Because, I mean, I'm not married anymore, but that's a nice ring. So,
and it's nice to know that he didn't ask for it back. Because, some guys will ask for it back.
I wish.
Some people, or like a broken engagement, I kind of understand asking for it back.
Look, and you get both rings, because when somebody left, their ring is still there. So, like, you get both
like the gold ring?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. He left that?
Mm-hmm.
Ew. I don't know why I thought he took it.
So you get the benefit of having both rings used for whatever makes the most sense.
I could see myself melting the gold, though. Yeah. And using the gold, because gold is gold is gold.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I just, like, I'm waiting to see what makes the most sense to do with it. But it definitely will be repurposed. Mm-hmm. I kind of hate it, though, because, like, that ring was, like, specifically made for me. Like,
yeah,
I picked the stone, I picked this, and, like, yes, but.
I don't like the concept either of. This is gonna sound kind of bad, but I don't like the concept either of, like, a family heirloom ring that gets passed down generation. I want my own ring. And what if it's ugly? Then I'm gonna feel bad because like that's Granny's ring, but Granny's ring is not cute.
I don't like things like that because I think every person is unique. They should have their own thing. So.
Yeah. And then what happens in the case of like someone gets engaged and then they break up and then now you get engaged to a new person, or are you just gonna give them that same ring?
And then too, sometimes, especially say there's a family where there's two girls.
Yeah, that's
true.
A
lot of times they'll be like the oldest girl. I don't like stuff like that. So like, no, everybody just get your own ring. Get your own
for yourself.
Your own ring, your own dress. Like,
go to the diamond broker and create your own design.
Yeah, the dress that my oldest niece wore for Christmas, and then you wore it for Christmas, and then my younger niece wore. Like we were doing that tradition, and then the dress got lost for a minute. But it has been relocated. But it got relocated. It got relocated or rediscovered, I guess. Too late for the youngest girl. Macy didn't get to wear it, and I feel bad about that because the
I mean, I don't think my future daughter is gonna wear it.
But anyway, just as show as you push a female out your womb, yes, she will.
I feel like that dress is gonna look very outdated in a couple years.
It doesn't matter.
Or more than a couple years.
Just long enough to take a picture in it because it was a cute tradition while it lasted.
I don't think I'm gonna keep the tradition of the middle name. I think what I will do, because we've already discussed this, is I'll make the middle name the first name.
Whatever. I'm not stuck on. Like it was,
because it's just like there's too many of us with the same name at this point. Like it's getting worn out.
Well,
it's kind of like when someone is like a fourth. Like, okay, that's enough.
Well, I'm not married to that middle name, so I don't care.
Well, moving on to Let's Put Y'all On, because this has been probably the most talked about show of the past week or so. Nobody Wants This, which I like the title of it because it already makes me want to be like,
It definitely makes you curious when you hear it. I told you, I thought you were being literal when you said that.
But the premise of the show is that this lady who is known to kind of be wild and crazy, and she has a podcast, and like on the podcast, she's like, sexually liberated or whatever. She falls in love with this rabbi, and like it just kind of tells the story of them like coming together and their romance. And I haven't finished it completely yet, so no spoilers in the comments. But it's a really cute show, and the episodes are only 20 minutes, so you can breeze through it. It's like a good show to watch right before you go to sleep because it's all lovey-dovey and it's funny and cute. And I feel like anyone can relate to it, even if you're not a Jewish person, even if you're not a person that has a podcast like us, you can still relate to the show.
Question though.
Yes.
Do you think a marriage or a relationship, not even a marriage, do you think a relationship like that can work?
I think it...
And the reason why I'm going to say it would not work for me.
I was going to say it could. I think it can work for people, but in theory,
it wouldn't work for me simply because no shade to any other religions, but I was raised Christian. That is what my religion is. That's what my faith is. And I would not want to have kids with somebody that was of a different faith, because if your religion actually means something to you, it's not just something you do for socialization, like you are embracing it and truly believe in whatever it is that you believe, then in theory, if I were to date somebody, if I were younger and the whole thing was different, if I were to date somebody that was not of my faith, then at the end of life, we're going to go two different ways.
I think too, it depends on the religions that we're speaking of. Like, I think it's possible for like an agnostic person to date a Christian person, because there's a little bit of commonality there, like in terms of believing in a higher power and like believing in certain things. But
I think maybe a Christian and a deist, maybe, but I don't know.
What is a deist?
That's somebody that believes that there is.
That's what agnostic means.
I don't know. I always thought agnostic.
No, they're atheists. Don't believe in anything. Agnostic believes there is a higher power. And then, like, for instance, like Hinduism is almost similar to being agnostic, but like it's a lot more rooted in culture, and like there's different gods, but like there's still a belief in like all religions in a certain type of way. But anyway, it's complicated because everyone's religious, and because
I don't know,
because even between Christianity, like there's a difference between being like there's different denominations, or like Jehovah's Witnesses versus being Mormon versus being Catholic. Like all of that is going to be a little bit different.
It would be hard for me because I'm one of those people that I'm not a gray area person. Like I'm very black and white about certain things. So it would be hard for me to know that I was with somebody that didn't share my faith, because I would feel like that's too important to me. My politics and my faith, I know people don't like to talk about stuff like that, but I couldn't date somebody that did not share my politics and my faith. Now, I know people do it all the time, but I
not to quote Ramses, because he's not my favorite person on Love is Blind right now, but on the show Love is Blind, there's a couple who they had a difference of opinion on politics, because the lady of the couple, she was in the military, but he doesn't believe that like military is moral.
Okay.
And he's from a country where like the U.S. military screwed them over in a certain type of way. So he was saying like, if you re-enlisted, then we can't be together, because like that just like goes against my morals and my values or whatever. So I feel like it's like what you're saying is similar to that in terms of sometimes, all the time, however you want to look at it, religion and politics feeds into what you think is morally right, what's morally wrong, how you conduct your life. It means more than just like a label.
I've asked, because I've had conversations with people. So my thought is, if as a Christian, I believe the teachings of Christianity, which in Christianity, they teach that there's only one way to salvation, and that's through Jesus. Okay, so let's say I believe that. And then I have a spouse that's like, there's multiple ways. There's many ways. What are we telling our kids? Because
I think that would be the issue for me if I was in that situation, which I'm not. But if I was in that situation, I think if I didn't have kids, then I would be able to live with it, because you're grown, I'm grown. We can believe two different things.
We can love each other while we're here.
Like I can go to church. If you're not in heaven with me, whatever, But if we had kids and I was in that situation, then also too, I'm going to raise my kids to believe what I believe, but at the end of the day, they're going to have the option to believe in whatever they want. Anyway,
that's different though, because I raised you as a Christian person, but I also raised you as a Christian person with free will to make your own decisions. It was my job to show you the right way, in quotation marks, and then it's up to you to decide if you want to follow. That's one thing, but to go into it knowing you're not even going to be trying to tell them the same thing that I'm telling them in terms of kids, that would be problematic for me. Also, on the political thing, I could not handle someone saying what this person believes politically is no big deal. It's not a big deal. Yeah, it is.
And I think
to me.
And on that plane, there's certain things that matter more to certain people. Like there's certain things that there's no negotiate. Like if you think that, then I think you're crazy.
Yeah.
Which is my prerogative to think that. But they're like, it's not a one size fits all. Like it's
now we can have some differences, but there are some things that are fundamental. And there were certain decisions made by some groups that for me as a mother, as a Christian, as a human being, were just unforgivable. When you take people's children with no plan to give them their children back, and I, as a mother, handed over my child thinking that this was a temporary situation, and then I never saw my child again. Being a mom, knowing how I feel about you, I can't rock with that. Like I can't even now. If you left here and I didn't see you again, they're gonna have to sedate me.
My perspective is I could never be with anyone that is not going to vote for someone that is going to protect me. As a Black Christian woman, I can't be with you if you're not going to vote in my best interest, because I'm going to try to vote in your best interest, and it should be. It should go both
and there
ways.
can be some gray areas in those, but if you are willing to put someone in office that has expressed the fact that my life means nothing to them, or that has acted in a way that implies that my life means nothing to them, then you don't care about me. And, that's one of my things when it comes to a relationship. We don't have to like the same people. We don't have to like the same. We don't have to. But if there's a situation where my feelings may be hurt, or where I may be in danger, and you don't step up and protect me, that relationship is over.
I think at the end of the day, whether it's based on religion, politics, family, whatever, morals have to line up. Definitions of right and wrong have to line up if you're going to be in a relationship. And you could be Muslim and Christian and be together.
Because
and if
I'm
you're
friends with people of all, like we literally have friends.
Yeah.
I can't think of probably a well-recognized religion that we don't have a friend or acquaintance or somebody that we deal with. I'm not mad at them. Like some of the nicest people that I know.
I don't necessarily think that morals are tied to what my religious beliefs are.
Yeah.
People can be great people and not believe in the same thing religiously.
Because there are some people that I know.
And there are people that are Christian that I cannot stand.
There are
So
some people
like,
that are Christian and that live at the church, but yeah, they live at the church, but the church don't live in them.
Yes. So at the end of the day, as we say with all things pertaining to topics like this, is you grown. Do whatever
you want.
Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But speaking of shows and speaking of Love is Blind, I referenced that earlier in the conversation. The Shade Room, which everyone should know what the Shade Room is. If you don't know what the Shade Room is, Google it. Like it's fun. But on the Shade Room on Instagram, they posted something that I thought was hilarious because I feel like everyone of any culture would have thought this. And if they were in the situation, and it was like, if you were on Love is Blind, what questions would you ask to figure out if the person is black? And this could also go for any other race, any religion, whatever. But being that we are black, we're going to talk about the question at hand. What question would you like? What would you try to decipher to see like? Okay, are they a brother? Are they a sister?
Is the person aware that I'm trying to figure out, or am I just
when you're in? Let's do an explainer of Love is Blind for people that don't know what it is really quick. So the concept of Love is Blind is love truly blind? So men are in like one area that they live all together. The women are in another area where they live all together, and then they go on dates, but they're blind dates essentially, where they're in pods and they can't see each other, but they have conversations. They get to know each other. They talk about serious things. And if they find a connection, then they propose to them in the pods. And then they have a reveal where they meet. And then after the reveal, all the couples, live in the real world together. And the cameras follow their journey all the way up into the altar. And that's where they decide, is love truly blind? Are they going to get married? Yes or no? So with all of that being said, you are not supposed to ask about what the person looks like.
So I'm not supposed to ask about their looks or their race or anything like that? Okay.
And there was an instance on the latest season where one of the people that was in the pods, she did not want to say what her mother's name was because she had Asian heritage. She didn't want to say what her mother's name was because it would have given it away that she was Asian. And she wanted him to go into the situation, fair and square, completely unaware of what her cultural background was.
Mm-hmm. So you want to know what I would ask? Yeah.
So what would you ask to see
on the sneak tip to try to figure it out?
Because I would just want to be nosy. Like I would want to know what everyone.
I mean, because there's some questions that would give it away almost right away that you could ask.
I feel like in certain situations you can tell by voice and tone. In other situations you cannot tell by voice and tone. I'm gonna
say no to that because I promise you, there's been recent occasions where I was hearing somebody talk on the news or on a show and I turned around and was like, oh, that was not what I was expecting. Yeah. You cannot go by voices anymore because everybody's kind of melted together and people got black sense and whatever. Yeah. So you cannot tell. If I wanted to know and I was being direct but indirect trying to find, I'd ask them because I'd be talking to a male, obviously. Yeah. Has your mom ever had her hair braided?
What? You cannot ask that.
I'm just saying.
That's too random and too obvious.
I could ask, how did your mom wear her hair?
And then if they're like French braids, then
has your mom ever relaxed her hair? There's questions you could ask.
That's too random. No, you have to think of something that's gonna fit into a regular conversation.
Well, okay, so I would ask them, what's your favorite dish that your mom made for you growing up?
Or I would ask, what is your family like?
Yeah.
Or what is your family life like?
What kind of television shows did y'all watch?
What kind of music do you like? But also that's not really telling because the people like all different types of music.
Well, see, for my generation, it would have been much easier because my generation,
y'all were basically
was a lot more segregated. So I would ask them what kind of shows did you watch growing up? And if they didn't say Good Times,
no, my generation, I feel like it would be extremely hard to tell because we're all a melting pot.
My generation, they're gonna say Good Times, the Jefferson Soul Train. If you ain't watched that, then I know. Then you're probably not black, but. For your generation, it's going to be a lot more difficult because people are which is a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Yeah. But I would ask.
I would just want to know because then I feel like if I hear the voice and then I can figure out the race and I can tell what they look like. I feel like I could make it make sense in my brain.
Okay, so let me ask you this. well, I'm going to say this. I wouldn't care. Like if I was on the show, I would never be on the show. But if I was on the show, I wouldn't care about race as long as it's good looking, whatever race it is.
But see, that's the thing. Okay. No, actually take race out of it. Because I feel like if you're on Love is Blind, you don't care about race. Yeah. You don't care about race.
I wouldn't want to be with somebody that I'm not
I would ask about things to let me know whether they are, como se dice, conventionally attractive person. Like... I would be like, oh, it's okay. Like when you go out, like do girls try to hit on you a lot? Like do you get approached? Do you approach? Like I want to figure out like, what do you look like?
Look, and I'm more direct. Have you ever considered modeling? Has anybody ever told you should model? Like,
Mom, no, you're asking questions that would not come up in a normal conversation.
It would. I'd figure out a way. I'd segue into it. I'd figure out a way to ask the questions I want to ask. But yeah, I would. I would be like, do you post on Instagram a lot? Okay. Like going off the rails a little bit. Okay, you're on the show. Obviously, you would not be on the show, but you're on the show. You've gone through the whole process or whatever. You've fallen madly, deeply in love with somebody.
And they're ugly.
And then you see them.
And they're ugly.
And they are not your version of attraction.
And they're ugly.
What you doing?
I'm going home. First of all, this is why I would never went on that show. Oh, because on this season, that happened to a couple where the lady walked out and she saw him and she was like... And then he kept rubbing all on her, and she like they went into kiss, and she literally was like this. Like that's what. And people started making mockeries of it on TikTok.
That is so sad.
And it like he was so like, oh, you're so beautiful. And she was like, thank you. Like I would go home, and then and it was so bad to the point that they didn't even make it to like the relationship in real life stage. They just put up on the screen so and so and so and so trying to date outside of the show, but they ended up breaking.
That would have been me, because here's the thing: there is no sense in me leading you on and making you think that we have a chance when I'm not attracted to you. Now we could be friends, but. I'm sorry.
I'm unfortunately
going through life with somebody that I'm not attracted to. And I'm not saying they got to be model gorgeous or anything like that, but just objectively unattractive.
I know that it wouldn't work for me because I have been in situations where I don't want to call people ugly, but I'm not saying their names. Unattractive men have really, really liked me.
Yeah.
And I can't, no.
I mean, I can't. You think it's attractive, somebody else might not think it's attractive.
That's true. But
like I gotta be able to.
Like the way that like I crave being around my boyfriend all the time because like he's fine. I know you don't want to hear this, but he's fine outside and inside. It's like the times where I've unfortunately been in situations where like so-and-so was nice, but like every time they wanted to like give me a hug, I'm like, I don't like. I'm just not
exceptionally shallow, but it doesn't
honest. Sound. It's honest. It's honest because I don't think everyone is gonna find me attractive. Like I might not be everybody's type.
True,
but
and that's the thing. And that's what I have learned. I'm not for everybody. Everybody is not for me. But I am not going to spare somebody's feelings at my own
and it's expense. Unfair because there's going to be somebody out there that thinks they are the bee's knees and they need to be with the person that thinks they are the bee's knees. Yeah, and sometimes too, it's not even about the physical appearance. It's like when they're talking they're talking in the pods, you can't see their mannerisms. You can't see their inflections all the time. You can't see if they have like a really goofy laugh that pisses you off. Like you can't tell. And when you meet someone in real life, they could be attractive, like they could be on a pretty package. Yeah. But if they give you the ick, you can't undo the ick at that point. Like you're just stuck.
And I couldn't handle the opposite of that. Somebody that was exceptionally attractive but very
like mean and like cold.
Yeah, like somebody that was attractive but very toxic and know in a certain kind of way, or that was their only calling card. Like, look at me. Like, I can't handle that either.
Or people that like, and obviously if you're attractive, you know you're attractive, but people that know they are attractive and they in a cocky way.
And they treat people that they consider unattractive badly because they're like, no, I need the whole package. Like it don't have to be a 10, but I need them to be, somewhere around a 7 or 8. Like I need them to have come with a good personality, decent looking, good temperament, good conversationalist. That's the other thing too. Now, if I initially see them and they're not exactly my cup of tea, but I find out that they're a beautiful soul, they have good conversation, because you can get me with a sense of humor. Somebody that can make me laugh, Like I love comedy. I love comedian. Like you can get me if you got a good sense of humor,
Yes.
Especially if you're, a sharp dresser and care about your appearance. Like there's a whole lot to that. I'm not just talking that they look like.
And that's another thing too, is you can't tell whether people are clean in the pods. Like and when I say clean, I don't mean like just basically. I mean like
messy,
keeping up with themselves, or like scruffy facial hair, or like tangled hair, like.
Or what if they don't wash their hands after they use the bathroom or something like that? Like that. Kind
like all of that is a deal breaker.
Like
and that's why I feel like shows like Love is Blind are interesting, or like shows like Married at First Sight are interesting, because it kind of reveals all the small things that can cause people to break up that you don't realize unless you like give yourself enough time to date the person. But it also lets you know all the small things that you think are important that really aren't important.
That really aren't. So like. That's a good starting point, and I think it's a brilliant idea to get to know the person before you see the person. But it all like
I mean, obviously it's for the cameras too, but like these people actually do get married. But obviously it's kind of for the cameras. But I think this is a good concept in real life if it was just dating.
Yeah,
like if you could just blind date someone.
I want a speed date. I want to go to one of those speed dating events where you sit and talk to the people for just a few minutes, and then I guess I don't know how it works. I've never gone, but I've seen it on shows and stuff. At the end of the evening, you decide who you want to talk to longer, because there's some stuff, some preliminary questions that knock you right off my list. Like I can just, we don't even need to talk anymore. Yeah, there's being on social media and stuff. There are certain things that if I see somebody post or say, it's like, okay, we can be Facebook friends, but that's it. Or we could be friends and that's it, but we could never date. Like, so like there's some specific things that, kind of are signs that we're not compatible or we are compatible.
Yeah. So in conclusion, we can't go on Love is Blind. I mean, I'm not going to go on Love is Blind because I'm not single, but like we could never have done that. I could never
do that. I could speed date, but I'm not going on Love is Blind.
Mm-mm. I wouldn't even like the concept of a blind date. Like, no.
I'll do a blind date.
You kind of did that.
I did. I'll do a blind date, but I need to see a picture first. Because if I say, how does he look? You're like, oh, and then I see that, then I'm mad at you,
But see, this is why you can't trust the homegirl that only dates ugly men. This is why you can't trust her opinion.
Well, and then sometimes
because everyone's definition of attractive is not attractive,
and then sometimes they'll know the person is not attractive. They just think they're a nice person, and they're hoping that you'll meet them.
That happened to me a long time, like years and years ago.
It's not so much that the person didn't know who was attractive or whatever, because
I got hit with but they're really nice. I don't want your homeboy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so sorry, but no.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it could never happen, but I need you to make sure that I'm going to at least be able to look at the person and not be like.
But I feel like that's like, I'm glad that it's a mutual, we both think each other are attractive in my relationship, because I would be so hurt if like,
you wouldn't even be in a relationship if you didn't think.
No, but I'm saying I would be hurt if I found out he was just like, she was kind of mid at first, but her personality is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
No. Like, now I want to cry.
And I know that I'm not stuck solely on looks, because somebody that I dated, I wasn't physically attracted to them. I was attracted to who they pretended to be. Like, I thought they were a nice person, and then I found out they weren't a nice person, and that's when all the ugly came back. Because like,
I feel like if off the top of your head you can think of things to roast them with, if you're mad, then maybe note me with them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they weren't unattractive, but it's just like they weren't my type. But they pretended to be my type and pretended to have the same interests and pretended a whole bunch of stuff. And then when I found out that they were just pretending, then I was like, that's when all of the insults that I wish I could look, that's when I thought of.
But I'm saying, if you can think of insults, then I think there's a problem.
Well, I could think of insults even if they weren't. I mean, even if I did find it, like, I could find stuff. If you make me mad, I'm
like, yeah, you could search. But I'm saying, like, there should not be anything top of mind to be like, oh yeah, this is how I can get them. Like, or at least I don't think like that.
I don't know. I'd love you with all my heart and soul, but if you make me mad, I can say some stuff.
I don't think like that.
I think on my feet. That's what I'm known for. I could think of all kinds. Like, yeah, I could figure out something.
Well, what would you say about me? Since you just have it in your brain space,
we'll talk about it off the air. But yeah, like there's never a time when I'm gonna be at a loss for it. If you come. No, I'm not saying. If you come from me, I'm not saying that I'll be at
a loss for words, but like I don't have a running list of things that I find unattractive about my boyfriend because I think he's attractive.
Well, that's because you in love right now. If you
don't say right now, like as if it's temporary.
If you were capable of falling out of love with him, then you think of stuff.
Well, I can't think of anything.
You think of stuff. Well, and that's so cute. But yeah,
my man. Anyway, so on to more proposal wedding topics. So the Ask a Gemini is this man proposed to his girlfriend, and then after the proposal, revealed that he wanted to wait 5 more years before they got married, but they are both only 21 years old, or he's only 21.
Oh well,
okay. Yes, he's only 21. But so on a Reddit post,
he wanted to lock her down.
Okay, wait, there's more. It says, and this is from People Magazine. People Magazine, I'm giving you credit for stealing your topic. Mm-hmm. And a recent anonymous post on Reddit, a 21-year-old man wrote to the, whatever this means. Oh, today I effed up. I guess there's like a thread. Today I effed up. Mm-hmm. Explaining how he ended up hurting his fiance's feelings when he proposed. He began by writing that he and his 20-year-old fiance have been in a 6-year relationship since they were teenagers. But as they've gotten older, he's noticed some women feel it's frustrating to be a girlfriend for a long time. I understand how bad that can be, and I wanted my girlfriend to know I take our relationship seriously, he wrote, adding, at the same time, I'm far from being financially stable enough to get married. So while I think it was kind of dumb for him to propose, his heart was in the right place. He shouldn't have proposed.
That's a promise ring, first of all. Like he should
have done like a promise ring.
But here's the thing. That makes me sad for a lot of reasons, or a couple of reasons. If they've been dating since they were that young, and they haven't experienced other people.
Okay, no, I find that
that's kind of a bad thing.
I don't agree with that mindset
because they have. I
don't agree with that mindset. I feel like if you are lucky enough to find your true love on the first go around, it depends
on what age you find them. If they've been dating since they were kids, they have not experienced adult.
Okay, but my question to you now is. So they're breaking up when they're still in love with each other?
No, but I'm just saying it's concerning. I shouldn't say it's sad. It's concerning
but it's not concerning unless they have relationship problems.
It's not concerning unless they have relationship problems, except that in those moments, and they're gonna come. Young people, please know they're gonna come in those moments where they're upset with each other or things are not going perfectly. They're both gonna wonder, what did I miss? It's gonna happen.
I feel like that's only immature people.
No, that's human nature. They're gonna wonder, what did I miss? Especially the guy. He's gonna wonder what he missed. Now, that does not mean that their relationship will not work out. So let me just say that part. That part is kind of concerning to me because neither of them really have been able to date other people as adults. That concerns
me. But I feel like if their relationship is sound and they are still in love with each other, what was dating other people how is that gonna benefit them? Other than give them like, you messed with so-and-so, or giving them the opportunity to have a break baby or something.
Like you're not giving them a hall pass or anything, but only somebody my age will understand what I'm talking about. They're going to wonder what they missed. So let's sit that over there. The other thing, on the other side, I'm very proud of the young man for saying to this young lady, I want to commit to you, but I'm not ready. So you're a part of my future plans, and I'm trying to make that happen. There's nothing wrong with that. But I just think that he should not. It's almost like a panic proposal. Don't propose to her. Talk about getting married. Talk about the fact that you want to be with her.
I'm saying, but don't do the actual.
Don't do the actual.
I'm
proposal.
22. I don't want my boyfriend to just propose to me because I
like not, especially when you're not ready.
I obviously we're not finna make it to year 12 and I'm just a girlfriend like that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like unless you're ready to be a husband. Or it would have been one thing if he was like, okay, in a year or 2 years, I'll be ready. Because that's how much, time that most people are engaged for. But saying I want to wait 5 years, okay, she went from forever girlfriend to forever fiance. It didn't really change anything.
Yeah, to use an analogy, that's like taking her to the grocery store and pointing out all the ingredients. That's a dish I'm going to cook for you one day. Like, no, just let it be. Until you're ready to.
And then I also wonder too, are they already living together since they've been together for so long? Because if they're already living together, then why not just go ahead and get married?
Yeah, if
they're already living together.
That's the other side of it. Ladies, don't do married people things if you're not married people. Like, don't move in and wife a man if he's not made you his wife, because if he changes his mind, now you have wasted a lot of years And same thing for God. You wasted a lot. You've wasted each other's time. Like,
I think before moving in, y'all need to be on a track of, okay, we're engaged, we're about to get married.
At least, and I'll say that because I'm not so prudish that because
realistically, people do not have money to live separately just for kicks.
Yeah, but at least, ladies, gentlemen, don't cohabitate without that being a part of your future plan. If you are of the mind that you want to get married, there's some people that marriage doesn't mean save your comments. We're only speaking to people who are marriage minded. If you don't want to get married, this message is not for you. Go talk to the other people that don't want to get married. But if you are marriage minded, it should not be, you should not move in together and start acting like you're married if you're not.
Like combining bills and
combining bills, buying things together, because it's hard enough when you have official documentation that y'all shared all these things. If you move in together and then things don't work out, now you gotta, this is mine, that's yours, you owe me for this, you owe me for that. Like, you don't want to have to be doing all of that. So
I think it depends on, like, if I was the girlfriend and I already live with him and we basically are already married and he's saying wait 5 years, then that's stupid.
Yeah.
But if he's saying you live at home, I live at home, we save our money, we buy a house together in 5 years and then we get married, then that's more understandable. But I still think he should have waited longer.
But it's sweet that he wanted her to know that he was serious. That he wants her to be his wife when he gets And
wife. I too think that people only consider it forever girlfriend if you're like start dating in your mid-20s and you're not married.
Yeah, I mean,
no one is counting you being 14 as a forever girlfriend. Like nobody is thinking about that.
It's all relative. Like, somebody in their 20s has a couple years that they can date before they get engaged, and then you get engaged for a year or two, and then you get married. If you 30, 40, then it needs to be a little bit we get anywhere close to 5 years. What we do?
I feel like if you're 30, 40, you date for about a year, 2 years, and then you get engaged.
And then I'm gonna say it's two. If you're 30, 40, in your 50s, hello, if you're in your 50s and you've been married and you're kind of the mind that I'm not ready to rush and whatever and stuff, but let's hang for a minute and see how things go. That's different because like where you go, like that's different. But young people, I think
at the point that like you're talking about kids and you're talking about house and you're talking about cars.
You definitely don't want to have kids before you're married to somebody. I feel like at the point that you have
kids before you're in whatever, y'all gonna complain, whatever. I think at the point that you have someone's kid and then they don't have some sense of urgency to marry you,
then that's a little bit.
And I'm not saying get married just because you have a kid. I'm saying like y'all already were on that track of being in love and being happy together, and then like okay, accident happens, whatever. And they're not trying, like, if they don't try to wife you soon after, I feel like they're never going to, because at that point you've given them the greatest gift that you can give someone.
Yeah.
And they kind of were just like, whoopsies, didn't mean to make you that permanent in my life.
Yeah, the young ladies, mamas, baby, papas, maybe do not, because if he decides he changed his mind, I don't care how much child support he pays, I don't care how much co-parenting you do. If you're a decent woman, in my definition of decent, if you're a decent woman, then you're going to have to take on a lot more of the burden than he is. So protect yourself. I say do not start reproducing with somebody that has not produced a wedding ring.
Yes.
Don't.
You don't want it to end up like DDG and then.
Yeah, like you don't. Yeah, because that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. But, these are based on our
these are our opinions. If you don't want to get married, if you want to have kids, we don't care.
Yeah, as long as you're not trying to date or marry my daughter, I don't care what you think. And as long as you're not trying to date or marry me, I don't care what you think. We're just sharing our opinions. We sure you have one. Feel free to share it, but there's no need in attacking us for ours because we're not gonna pay you any attention anyway.
So on to Gemini Gems.
Okay, you wanna go first?
Oh, I was going to have you go first, but I can't.
Okay.
So the first one is to use a drink holder. Like, if you go to McDonald's or you go to Dunkin' or whatever and you order a bunch of drinks and they give you the drink holder.
The McDonald's one, yeah. The Dunkin' one, sometimes they're wonky. I don't know.
I haven't got one from Dunkin' in a long time.
Yeah, it might work.
Whatever. But on road trips, you can use them as like car trays if you don't have a car tray. I just use a bag, whatever bag came in. If I use my lap, but that does make it a lot easier because then you can like put your fries and put your drink and all of that
for little kids,
make
especially.
Your little platter.
Yeah,
you used to have me do that as a
like I saved the drink carrier, the fries.
I think there's still one floating around my car that I haven't touched in a minute.
Well, they will. you have to check them, make sure they're still sturdy because they will like deteriorate over time, like get wonky. But like I keep a drink tray usually somewhere in my car if I need to stick stuff down in the little pockets to hold it so that I can, you know, maneuver safely. And so along those lines, talking about traveling with kids, if you're traveling with kids, especially a road trip, we're coming up to the holidays pretty soon. A thing that you can do that is entertaining for the kids, but also can be educational is audiobooks. If you do audiobooks in the car and give the kids a copy of the actual book and let them follow along, they're entertained and then hopefully also being educated in some way. They might, you know, it'll help encourage them to read. The other side of that is you can take books and have the kid read to you while you're driving. Like use that time in the car to entertain them, but also to like get some positive things out of it, educate them or whatever and stuff. I used to do that with you, like play audiobooks and stuff in the car, play music in the car that was kid friendly. But for road trips, take an audio. And if you, even if you're an adult, if you got a book that you've been wanting to read but you haven't had time, get the audio version, listen to it on the road trip. So anyway.
With all of that being said, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Period.